Daniel sat in his small security office, surrounded by the blue glow of monitors. Each screen showed a different part of the empty office building. He was the night watchman, keeping the building safe while the city slept. The silence was deep, broken only by the hum of air conditioning or a distant train. His routine never changed. Arrive at 11, check the logbook, patrol the halls. He walked through dark, deserted corridors, checking locked doors. The offices were frozen in time, waiting for morning. Daniel found comfort in the quiet, a break from the noisy world outside. After his patrol, he'd return to his chair and watch the screens. He sipped bitter coffee, read or listened to the radio as the hours crawled by. Usually, nothing happened. But tonight felt different. A strange feeling crept over him, a sense of being watched. He shrugged it off, blaming the old building's creaks and groans. He'd worked here 3 years and knew every shadow. But tonight the shadows seemed deeper, the silence heavier. He took another sip of coffee, eyes fixed on the screens. He tried to ignore the uneasy feeling, but it lingered, refusing to fade. Something was off tonight. Daniel's eyes scanned the monitors in their usual pattern. Lobby cam, check. Parking garage, check. Floor 10, check. Everything looked normal. He was about to grab a donut when something caught his eye. On the lobby monitor, 4 elevator doors appeared. He counted again. A, B, C, and D. There were only supposed to be 3 elevators. He'd used them hundreds of times. He tapped the monitor, thinking it was a glitch. The image stayed. 4 elevators, perfectly rendered. Elevator D looked identical to the others, but it shouldn't exist. It was like seeing an extra window in your own house. A cold shiver ran down his spine. This wasn't a simple glitch. Glitches didn't invent elevators. His heart pounded. The boring night had turned unsettling. He couldn't just sit and watch a phantom elevator. He had to know what was going on. He needed to see it for himself. Was it a prank? A trick of the camera? He had to check. He grabbed his flashlight. He stood up, determined. Time to investigate. Daniel stared at the impossible image of Elevator D. The label was clear, a bold D beside the door. He'd been in that lobby hours ago. There were only 3 elevators. Was this a prank? It felt too real. The elevator didn't flicker or fade. It just sat there, solid and silent. Its digital display was dark, unlike the others. It looked like it was waiting for someone. The urge to solve the mystery grew stronger. Staring at the screen wouldn't give him answers. He needed to see the lobby with his own eyes. He stood, chair scraping the floor. He grabbed his flashlight, even though the lobby was well lit. He had to prove the monitor was lying. He needed to confirm reality. He took a deep breath. The building felt different tonight. He stepped into the hallway, heart pounding. The mystery of Elevator D pulled him forward. He had to know the truth. He headed for the stairs. The investigation began. Daniel took the stairs, avoiding the elevators. The stairwell echoed with each step. He pushed open the lobby door and stepped onto the marble floor. The vast, empty lobby felt like a cathedral. Soft lights cast long shadows. He walked toward the elevator bank, heart pounding. He counted 1, 2, 3. Only 3 elevators, A, B, and C. Their steel doors gleamed under the lights. Relief washed over him. The monitor was wrong. He ran his hand over the wall where Elevator D should be. Just solid marble. No seam. No hidden door. He knocked. Only a dull thud. It was exactly as he remembered. He felt foolish for being spooked. Satisfied, he turned to leave. He glanced back. 3 elevators. Nothing more. He shook his head, ready to forget the whole thing. The phantom elevator was just a glitch. He started back up the stairs. The building was normal, or so he thought. But the feeling of unease lingered. Something still felt wrong. Back in his chair, Daniel sipped fresh coffee and checked the monitors. Elevator D was still there on the screen. His relief vanished. He'd just seen the wall. How could the camera show a 4th elevator? The camera should show what he saw. 3 elevators, but the screen insisted on 4. Unease twisted in his stomach. Suddenly, the display above Elevator D flickered to life. A red L for lobby. The up arrow lit up. Daniel imagined a faint ding in his mind. The phantom doors slid open on the monitor. Inside was darkness, a void. He leaned closer, squinting. Then, a figure emerged from the shadows. A man stepped forward, stopping just inside the open doors. He stood in an elevator that didn't exist. Daniel's blood ran cold. The man looked directly at the camera. Daniel stared, frozen. Was he seeing a ghost? The figure was eerily familiar. The impossible was happening. The man in the elevator was him, or someone who looked just like him. The doors began to close. Daniel couldn't look away. The man inside elevator D stared into the camera. It felt like he was looking straight at Daniel. The face was unmistakable, his own, but older. Grayer hair, deeper lines, the same uniform, even the same coffee stain. But the smile was wrong, wide, unsettling, secretive. Daniel's heart hammered. He pinched his arm. He was awake. He watched, horrified, as his older self raised a hand, palm forward. Was it a greeting? A warning? The doors slid shut, hiding the smiling man. Daniel sat frozen, mind racing. Was this a nightmare, or a glimpse of something he wasn't meant to see? The image lingered in his mind. The building felt colder. He stared at the monitor, waiting for something else to happen. But the screen just showed the closed doors. The phantom elevator was still there, and so was the fear. Daniel wondered what would happen next. He wasn't sure he wanted to know. The steel doors of elevator D closed. The older Daniel was gone, but the image haunted him. The up arrow stayed lit. The display changed. L disappeared, replaced by numbers climbing higher. The elevator was ascending. 2, 3, 4, 15, 32, 46. The building only had 46 floors, but the numbers kept rising. 47 glowed red. The elevator stopped at a floor that didn't exist. Daniel's mind reeled. What was on the 47th floor? The camera feed for elevator D went black. Static filled the screen. All other cameras worked fine. Only the phantom elevator was gone. It was as if it had vanished into thin air. Daniel sat in stunned silence. The impossible had happened before his eyes. He tried to make sense of it, but there was no explanation. The building was quiet again, but nothing felt normal. He wondered if he'd ever sleep again. The static on the screen was all that remained. The mystery was unsolved, and Daniel was left alone with his fear. Daniel didn't move for the rest of the night. He stared at the static, the other monitors showing only 3 elevators. Elevator D was gone. He skipped his patrols, waiting for dawn. When his replacement arrived, Daniel said nothing. Who would believe him? He left, exhausted. The image of his older self burned into his mind. Later at home, he checked the security logs. The lobby footage showed only 3 elevators, no sign of D. He almost convinced himself it was a dream, but then he checked the maintenance logs. Elevators A, B, and C. Operational. At the bottom, a new entry. Elevator D. Cycle complete. Passenger disembarked at destination. Status. Dormant. No one ever mentioned the log. Daniel never saw elevator D again. But some nights, when the building is quiet, he wonders, where is the 47th floor, and is his older self still there, smiling? The mystery lingers. The building keeps its secrets, and Daniel keeps his.